Welcome everyone to this exciting day. It has been a long time coming. We thought it would never get here. We have been so eager since the board made their decision to name this building, this facility, this complex, the Aquilina Howell Instructional Services Center. And we're excited to honor our friend today, our colleague, our teacher, a wonderful educator, and a leader. And I think it's most fitting that Mrs. Howell's Reverend Holmes, her reverend from her pastor from her church, come and give us our opening remarks.
Thank you, Shirley. To the presiding officer, to the Honorable Superintendent, Mr. Merrick, to the school board chairwoman, Mrs. Harper, school board members, special guests, friends, to the family members of Mrs. Aquilina Howell, and most significantly, to my beloved queen, Mrs. Howell. I am deeply touched and honored to come today to say a few words about one of God's best creation, Mrs. Howell. Mrs. Howell is a friend of humanity. Mrs. Howell is a blessing to society. Mrs. Howell is a gift from God, and we thank God that she has come our way. I want to thank the Leon County School District and its leadership for the foresight, vision, and good judgment of naming this beautiful facility the Aquilina Howell Building. It is so inspiring and heartwarming that you all would bestow such a high honor upon one of Bethel Baptist's finest members. It is equally important that you would do this while Mrs. Howell can smell the roses, hear the accolades, sense the moment, and then have the opportunity to thank you all in person. Mrs. Howell, you mean so much to so many people. Your smile, your prayers, your commitment, your drive, your humor, and your competence have inspired so many of us to not allow racism, sexism, meanism, or any other ism to keep us from being one and becoming a beloved community. Your spirit of diversity, inclusion, of believing that all children can learn, help to guide this community through the turbulent waters of the 60s. Mrs. Howell, God is pleased with your stewardship. We are thankful for your leadership, and the community is better because of your sense of brotherhood and sisterhood. Mrs. Howell, you have truly lived out the words of the old spiritual that says, if I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or song, if I can show somebody that they are traveling wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. My dear lady, you have helped many of somebody's, and your living has not been in vain. So keep on living, keep on giving, keep on caring, keep on loving, and keep on smiling, and may God keep on blessing you.
Wow, all we all have to say is just amen, I guess, right? Good afternoon again. I'm Shirley Eikeland with Instructional Services, and it is indeed my pleasure, along with the Fiddler staff that's located in this facility, that's a part of state and federal programs, along with other teams and team members of Instructional Services, along with the many, many friends that are here that represent Aquilina's past, present, and future. As with any dedication program, it is real easy to find lots of people who will speak to the honorees' attributes. But this one has to be an exception. because everyone you speak to about Aquilina has something to say, not only to say, but to rave about her contributions to not only the school system, but to the community and her leadership. So today we really had to limit the program, and for those of you standing, I know you'll be glad of that. We ask for your indulgence on that. But we are limiting the program to the leadership of past, present, and future. So we have a special treat this afternoon for all of us as the faces and voices of the future share a musical presentation. May we introduce Leon High Madrigal Singers under the direction of Dr. Darrell Jones.
equally talented students like these in the other high schools.
so maybe we won't be in too bad of trouble with the other high schools. We just had the one. But certainly, Voices of the Future represent what Aquilina stood for. Her contribution and commitment was to students and the quality of their education and learning. So we couldn't have any program without students. The next voices that you'll hear are from our district's leadership, and they certainly include our school superintendent and our school board chair, Donna Harper, and vice chair, Curtis Richardson. Easily, there are many positive things that we can say about each of these individuals, but we'll let them have another day in the sun. And if you want to talk to the rest of us on the side, we'll be glad to fill you in if you don't already know. But we want to protect their time for their comments about our honoree. It's my pleasure to introduce my boss, Richard Merrick, who will introduce the school board's leadership.
I was pretty sure when they set up the microphone for Reverend Holmes I'd have to do that. Obviously, having a chance to introduce our school board chairman is both a great treat and a great excuse for me to make a small speech. I think that Reverend Holmes spoke very well when he spoke about the enormous contributions that Aquilina has made to this district. I remember only once seeing her with a really hopeless and worried look on her face, and that was when Ms. Millett took me in and said, Aquilina, this is our new school board member. Will you see what you can do? And she kind of scratched her head and looked like she wasn't real sure. But bless her heart, she tried. And I will always remember the wonderful way that she both supported and criticized. There are some people, and she's one of them, who can, with a smile and a simple comment, make a young pup's backside hurt more than any belt or stick ever did when it was applied to it. And so she gave me both some support and some constructive guidance. And I appreciate them both deeply. And it was sort of a nice segue that they asked me to introduce our school board chairman, Mrs. Harper, who came on the board in 1982, 2 years after I was elected, and as soon as Aquilina retired and there was a need for someone to be willing to take me under their wing and discipline me when I needed it, Ms. Harper showed no reluctance whatsoever to step into that role and provide me with that kind commentary. And I think she will join me and all the rest of you in talking about what a wonderful person we're recognizing here today. And I really don't think there could have been a better facility in this county to name after her, because the mission of this facility and what it represents for teachers and students is a perfect symbol of the things that I think Aquilina represented during her time in this district. And it is with great pleasure at this point that I would ask our school board chairperson, Donna Harper, to come up to the podium and give her greetings, if she has arrived. Well, in that case, I've got the long version of the speech already. No. Shirley, if Mrs. Harper were here, what she'd want me to say on her behalf? No. We will make time for her on the program when she arrives. In the meantime, I guess I'm going to go ahead and introduce our school board vice chairman and immediate past chairman to make his comments. And it's really kind of disappointing to me that he's here, because if he were not here, I could claim credit for having originally come up with the idea to name this facility after Aquilina. But since he's here, I have to confess that it was actually his idea first. And it took him 2.5 seconds to convince me of that, because he's a gentleman and he speaks slowly. But I think that I want to say this about our school board chairman. We had a generation of minority leadership in this district that broke an awful lot of ground and made an awful lot of opportunities available to a lot of folks. And Aquilina certainly is a marvelous symbol of that. And we were extremely fortunate in this district that as she and Lucille and Cornelia and others decided there had to be life after Leon County Schools and went on to do other things, that we had the opportunity to bring a young man like Curtis Richardson into this district to show the vision and leadership that he has and do the things that he has done and continues to do. It's an honor and privilege for me to have spent the last 2 years with him as our school board chairman, working closely with him, and I'm proud to introduce him this afternoon. Curtis.
Thank you, Richard. Good afternoon. I can tell you that our school board chairman is on her way. We were communicating by cellular phone as I was rushing to get here, and I know that she's on her way and will be here shortly. It was interesting when we had our reorganization meeting the other day, and I was elected vice chair. I said, now how is that going to look to the public? After having served 2 years as chair, it's going to look like I was demoted to vice chair for something I did wrong. But it worked out that way, and it was not a demotion, and I was honored that my fellow board members saw fit to have me continue in a leadership role on the board, and I take that responsibility very seriously. But I am extremely honored to be here this afternoon and to share in dedicating this building in appreciation to Aquilina Howell and all that she has meant, not only to this school district, but to this community. And Aquilina actually goes back a long ways with my family. My father, in fact, grew up right across the street in Frenchtown from Aquilina, and I didn't find that out until a long time afterwards when Aquilina and I were serving on the CBS committee, Citizens for Better Schools committee, back in 1986, and she was shepherding me through that process and served as my mentor as I was a young upstart in the Leon County school system. Through volunteering in that effort, and really enjoyed having an opportunity to meet her and Sam both and spend some time with them. Sam, in fact, pledged me into our fraternity, and I will always remember him for that and that experience. And Aquilina was right there with him, and they all took us in as part of their family, the other guys that pledged with me. But I have just felt very honored to have known Aquilina and to be able to spend time with her and to have shared time with she and Sam together. And I knew that there was something that we had to do to recognize her in a very significant way, more than just a plaque or more than just a certificate or a resolution or proclamation. I knew that there was something much more significant that we had to do to recognize her for all that she has done and all that she has meant to both the school system and to this community. And for a number of months, I kept harassing Richard about us changing our board policy so that we could name a school after Aquilina, because I really thought that was what we should do. And was reminded by both Richard and the other board members that there was a reason why we do have a policy where we name our schools to recognize the area or something significant about where the school is built. But still, I knew we had to do something significant to recognize Aquilina. And so the opportunity presented itself for us to dedicate this building after we bought it and renovated it. And I was able to come out here and see just how fantastic this building was and what all it meant to this school system, because this truly is the nerve center of our school district, housing our district media center, our instructional television services, the curriculum coordinators, our instructional services department, and that is truly the nerve center of this district. And that's part of what Aquilina has been, both to the school system in the 4 decades that she served here, and certainly to this community. I don't know of very many people who are in Leon County now that Aquilina has not touched in one way or another. And she means so much to me and has meant so much to this community that I knew we had to do this, and I'm proud that we have She said she taught my daddy. So I'm just glad that we have been able to get to this point today, to be able to recognize Aquilina again for all that she's done, all the thousands of lives that she has touched, and for the fact that she has made this school district and this community such a better place. And we wanted to do it while she was here to be able to enjoy it. And so that's what has brought us to this point now. And so, Aquilina, I just want to say how much I have enjoyed getting to know you and how much I love you.
Well, we are very pleased. Our board chair did arrive through the rain and the storm and the sleet, and it is my privilege to introduce Donna Harper, school board chair.
Aquilina says, "You better get here." I knew I'd best not miss this for anything. I know she'd never, ever let me live it down, and certainly I would never feel the same if I had missed an opportunity like this. I feel such closeness to Aquilina. She has taught me so much over the years. I don't believe that I would be a school board member today if I had not worked with Aquilina and learned more about the school district than I had learned ever in my 11 years as a teacher and 2 years as a teacher union president. She taught me what it meant to work with the community and to draw folks together and to make everyone work as a unit and to make everyone feel that the school system was a family, including all of the employees, the students, the parents, and the community members. And that is something that I will always remember that she has taught me. I'll never forgive her, though, for encouraging me to run for school board. That we'll get to later. But I am very delighted to be here this afternoon and to welcome all of you to this most glorious occasion. I can't think of a better name for an instructional services center than the Aquilina Howell Instructional Services Center. To me, it's one and the same because of her dedication. I'm very grateful to school board member Curtis Richardson for providing you with a lot of the in-depth detail and sentiments of the school board as a whole. Each member of the school board is very proud of this day and very pleased and very anxious for this facility to be officially dedicated to Aquilina. I'm not going to belabor this because I know that there are other speakers to follow and we don't have as many chairs as we have guests today. So at this point in time, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Sterling Bryant, who has been a very dedicated volunteer to the school system and himself has a very glorious background in education. And he has a few words to say to us today. Mr. Sterling Bryant.
You know what she says to me? Mississippi. She always remembers it. I, like you, believe very strongly, I think, that we all have a commitment to leave this world a little better than we found it. I sincerely believe that Aquilina Howell believes that and represents that, and her life has been certainly devoted to that, to leave this world a little better than she found it. I would like to take this opportunity to say what I asked for 30 minutes on the program, but they advised me that a lot of people are going to be standing and all of this, so I needed to limit my remarks very much and not be repetitious, not say anything that had already been said. So the brief remarks I would like to make, I think many people could make. Our superintendent, Freeman Ashmore, that was our superintendent 8 years and led us well. Freeman, we're glad to have you with us. Mabel Jean Morrison, who ducked in over here, is with us. You didn't see her, did you? I didn't think you did. Who headed elementary education back when Aquilina headed the secondary education before she moved on up. The many other people present, the many principals, staff members that were with us during the years of the late 60s and early 70s. I could certainly enumerate the many problems we had back then, and you could counter it with the many problems that you may have now, today, to deal with. We were confronted with problems unique to our time. You know, people, the right people at the right time maybe helps make a difference, but this school system initiated a system to integrate the schools of this district in 1964-65. I could give you a long speech in the role that Aquilina, I feel, very strongly assisted us in that process in helping us work in bringing this community together. As some of you may have heard me say previously, she wore two hats. She had to come to work every day and deal with a predominantly white staff and board and superintendent. At the same time, she had to go home at night and face the other community that was faced with problems different from what the other side was faced with, and she contributed tremendously to bridging that gap, more than many of you will ever realize. Many times she has asked to come into my office, and probably certainly Superintendent Ashmore's and Aquilina's, when we were really dealing with very difficult issues, and would sit down with us and give us some guidance and help us look through this and the impact this may have versus what we did in making this decision regarding schools and working with people. And that's something, Aquilina, that was in you. I know you felt that way. It was your Christian feeling, but your contribution was tremendous. Along with that, we dealt with the teacher walkout, which is something many of you, God bless you, have never had to deal with, but that was a very difficult period in our lives. We had to close schools and open schools, and it was hard to explain to some segments of our community why we closed certain schools and did not keep certain schools open. It was really an educational process. During these years, there are no doubt many problems similar to what you're faced with in this school district today, that the people of Aquilina Howell played a vital role. As you've been enumerated today, I will not be repetitious. There are some problems we did not have that you have today. We really didn't have a lot of money problems because we didn't have any darn money. You know what I mean? I'm dead serious, and Superintendent Ashmore knows I'm dead serious. When the top administrative staff of the county at that point in time earned about $6,000 to $7,000 less than your beginning teachers make today, it makes you stop think the years that people like Aquilina Howell and myself for a number of years, even the superintendent of the schools, he can tell you a year that I even made more than he did, but that wasn't for long. But that was years. But she gave us tremendous things. I will not enumerate the leadership she gave us, the compassion she helped us, if we did not fully have it, to acquire and understand and working with different groups of people and help reassure them that their children and teachers themselves would be dealt with fairly and squarely. This lady played a vital role. I'm glad to have been a part of that, as many of you here today are proud of that. Aquilina, it was a pleasure, still is a pleasure. Yes. At this point in time, we're going to have a few remarks from Aquilina.
Before she comes, we were hoping that maybe Shirley would give us a few little secrets about Aquilina, but there's only good things to say about this lady.
and touched by this adulation and reminiscence of the times that we spent together, and very grateful. And as the paper stated, it's like icing on a cake, because I truly enjoyed working. I'm thinking about my husband. He used to say, "You're a woman of a few thousand words." And my family is over here. They have cautioned me that not to talk, and of course, you know what a family's for. They, to defy them, really. That helps you with you. That's a part of my therapy. They don't know that, but that's a part of my therapy. As you know, I had a stroke, but fortunately, my sister says it didn't affect my ability to talk. And now my ability to dial the telephone, to call them up. And my two daughters have been like angels when I was having them, when they were coming along and I was working with them. I didn't realize that they would be such a blessing to me. And just to look around and see so many friends, I wouldn't dare call names because I'd have to name each one of you. And that would take a long, long time. I've thoroughly enjoyed everything, and I know you said you were doing this before. Well, I want you to know I'm going to live to be 100. I just had a stroke. I didn't lose my ability to think, not to talk. But I know that you're standing, and the feet can endure only as much as the mind will allow. And I know you're saying to yourself, we should stop talking. But I love every minute of it, and I feel highly honored. And I'm going to say this one thing, and I think Churchill said it, that what we get makes a living, but what we give makes a life. Thank you.
You didn't hear her, but she wanted you to know this is her grandson, and not just any grandson, but her pride and joy.
Mr. Richardson and Mrs. Harper, I believe you have a special task to do.
This will be the icing on the cake, and it will be displayed here in our Instructional Services Center, the Aquilina Howell Instructional Services Center. Donna?
With this week. And with this, we officially now call this the Aquilina Howell Instructional Services Center from this day forward.
obviously that will be a treasure to this whole community, and it will be placed in a prominent place for viewing by the community as well as the staff to remind us of the challenge that we have to follow the model that has been put before us. Well, there are a lot of achievements been named today, lots not named today. Really too many acknowledgments for one afternoon. But I would like to close with a quote from Marilyn Ferguson that I do believe summarizes this in honoree. Those who would be leaders in education must be leaders in learning. We can rationalize the failures of the past, or we can learn from them. We can complain about the troubling inadequacies of the present, or we can face them. And we can talk and dream about the schools of the future, or we can create them. Those who would be leaders in education must be leaders in learning. Aquilina Howell is such a person. We want to take just a moment, if we can have your patience for just a moment longer, to thank the many, many people who contributed in ways of donations. And I have a list of just a few that are some and some did not want to be named. But Apple Computers, Dataflex, JRA Architects, Martin Vending, Ajax Construction, Bear Stearns, Bill Gunter. And then there are others, like I said, who indicated they did not want their names or read. They just wanted to quietly donate to this wonderful, wonderful lady. We also want to thank the many staff members who gave extra to make this program so special today and meaningful for all of us. And a special thanks to our planning committee that were co-chaired by Betsy McCauley. Betsy, where are you? Hiding in the back somewhere. Where are you? And Alan Ragsdale. Betsy and Alan, where are you? And a special thanks to you for making the effort to come and honor this lady, or tuning in today in order to recognize this special lady. We invite you to visit with Ms. Howell.
I'd like to express my appreciation to Superintendent Merrick and the school board chairman, Curtis Richardson, along with the other people who made this occasion with you, and you, Shirley. Yeah.
We know you are eager to visit with Aquilina, and so in a moment she's going to be moving over to the couch over here so she can visit with you, and we'll have a receiving line for you to go. While some folks will be forming in the receiving line, some of you may want to join us in the lounge for some refreshments that have been donated, and some of you may want to start out your afternoon with a tour, and we have tour guides all around, and any of the individuals that are wearing a badge that says welcome to this Aquilina Howell Center will be glad to guide you or to direct you wherever you wish to go. So we have tour guides available. Please ask. Please enjoy your afternoon. Yes. Oh, please. Okay. You're going to have to help me. I know Sonia and I know Carmen, her two beautiful daughters. Will you two stand? Sonia and Carmen. And Sonia would like to introduce her husband. If you'll bear with us just a moment. We are unable to with the mic is so strapped on, we can't take it over to Aquilina. So if you'll just be patient so we can hear her voice.
And this is my only sister.
Only sister, but we read about her in the paper, right? Okay. Oh, another wonderful Leon County educator, too, doing Sonia and...
Around here. And my son, Ebenezer Aronson.
Pardon?
Our dear friend, Lily Pearl Polar, she was, her cousin was principal here one time.
Okay. Dear friend, Mrs. Porter, we're very glad. Miss Rollins? Great. And a granddaughter. Okay, did we get everybody? And a dear friend, Roseanne Wood, sitting right there with the family. That's great.
And you don't leave my grandson out.
No, we're not going to leave him out. We are so thrilled that you could be here today, and we know how special you feel about this lady, and we just want to tell you we feel the same way. Thank you. Enjoy your afternoon.
You're looking at a live shot of the official dedication. It has been complete of the Aquilina.